Welcome to this week's edition of The Accomplished Woman with Cathy Mendell, the show for accomplished women who are serious about their retirement. I'm your host, Kristin Oakley, and I'm here with the one and only Cathy Mendell. She is the president and founder of Theia Financial, and we have put together another great show for you at home today. The reality is that the closer we get to retirement, and especially once we're in retirement, it is so critical that we manage the risk with our money, that we make sure we have enough reliable ongoing income to last us the rest of our lives. But every type of investment out there has risk, and we're going to be talking about a pretty important one today, one that a lot of folks don't understand how it actually works. And Cathy, you do such a great job of peeling back and helping our accomplished women know what they need to know. But first, it's great to see you. And I know you have been so busy. You've been meeting with a lot of women for the first time who've been calling off the television show.
Oh my goodness. And we're
like?
Growing our company.
Yes.
We're adding additional advisors to make sure
meet the demand, right?
Everyone can have a meaningful plan, a meaningful conversation, and really find solutions. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, this is going to be a really jam-packed show. What we're going to be talking about today is something known as the sequence of returns risk. And, you know, you might hear that term, but I think there's a lot of confusion surrounding it. So I'm excited for you to break it down for us and just give it to us like it is.
You know, it's a financial jargon, right? And aren't there a lot of those in the world of investing? I mean, holy cow.
Yep.
You know?
And it's very male-dominated language, too. We've been talking about that a lot of times.
It is. But just to explain what that means. Sequence, obviously, that's, you know, it's a particular order that things happen. So there's a sequence of events, meaning that they're back to back to back to back. All right. And then returns are your profits. These are the profits from your investments. So that would be considered the returns. And the risk is the exposure that you have to danger. That's what sequence of returns is actually talking about. So it's the risk of danger on the sequence, on the order of how you get your returns.
But what does it actually mean for us with our financial security? Why is this so dangerous and detrimental to someone's retirement?
Okay, so the reason that it's important that you understand why you need to take care of timing risk. Timing risk is actually, I could define it by saying it's either lucky or unlucky timing when you retire. And I'm not talking about the advisor being just the best stock picker, right? I mean, they can beat the market every year. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the things that happen in our world that affect the financial markets.
That we have no control over,
that you have absolutely no control over, right? And if you are going to retire and the world does what the world does, things happen, and we'll talk a little bit about that, and you're taking, now you're not retired, you are now retired, you're not getting a paycheck, your investments, your assets that you've collected are now your paycheck, you're taking an income, and we go through an unlucky period in the market. And you're having to sell positions in order to get an income. It can absolutely be a game changer for your financial security long term.
Right.
The sequence of returns risk is actually a very real situation that you have to mitigate. You have to take care of this. You have to have a plan for it. You have to understand that, hey, it might not be happening. Maybe the market's up right now, so you're not thinking about it. That's not when you think about it.
Right, right.
You think about it because you know that the market will not always be up.
Yeah. Well, and the market only does one of two things. It goes up and it goes down. But the reality is none of us know when those ups and downs are going to occur. And, you know, I think it's important to point out, we hear a lot about risk tolerance in financial services. You know, what's your risk score? What's your risk tolerance? But even more so than that, it's understanding what your capacity for risk is, meaning the closer you get to retirement and once you're in retirement, you are not able to withstand that market volatility like we all could when we were younger. I mean, that's the crux of it, right?
Well, that is a big part of it. And just as an example, When 2008 happened, my company actually started in 2010. Okay, well, actually the end of 2009. So I had a gentleman that came, or that, you know, visited with me, who was a pharmacist, and he was planning to retire the next year. Well, 2008 happened. He could not have predicted that. There was no way he would know that was on its way. He could not have known that the market was going to come down 46% in 1 month or 1 year. So when he came to see me, it had already happened. And he had the money that he needed to retire. He was just going to work a few more, I don't know, it was like 9 or 10 more months, and this all fell apart. He had to delay his retirement by 4 years to get back to where he was. It didn't just bounce right back.
No.
It took a long time to come back. That's the sequence of returns risk. That's timing risk. It's just, you just happen to hit it not on the best time. But timing risk is also true when you're taking an income, because now you are withdrawing on a regular basis. So you have to have tools in place so that you are using a principle that I refer to as never draw income from a declining value. You can't do that, or you will experience this sequence of returns risk, and it's a bad sting.
Yeah, it is really bad, because, like, to your point, you can't make that up. And once you are withdrawing income for yourself from your investments, you're taking money out, and if you also experience a downturn in the market, that money gets depleted that much more quickly.
Right, and most times when you go in and talk to somebody about your money, they're going to ask you the questions: are you conservative, moderate, or aggressive? Which I think is kind of a, people don't even know what that really means.
Right, exactly.
Well, I don't know. I think I'm moderate. You know, I think I should be moderate. Okay.
You know what happens to me when I read those things? I get mad because I'm like, I'm not a cookie. Don't try to put me in a cookie cutter approach, right? There's so much to me.
I actually, one of our new advisors, we were talking about that very question, and she said, well, so she used to work for a very big firm.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the more corporate names. Yeah.
Yeah. And she said that when people would come in, they would ask the question, and she said we would just go in and hit their age, moderate, and that was their portfolio. That's how much thought went into it.
Right. And there's not the personalization to it.
There was nothing about their income and their dreams and there's none of that. It was, you said you're moderate, here's your portfolio, and, you know, and how are you invested? I'm invested moderately. Okay, so this is not, this isn't what we're talking about.
Right.
If you asked me that question, I would say yes, I am conservative, I am moderate, and I am also aggressive.
Yep.
Because I have different buckets doing different things. The money that I'm going to take income from, I would consider it conservative because it has no market risk.
Right.
And I'm going to draw an income off of that, and it's going to last me the rest of my life. The money that I'm going to be spending on travel and whatnot, maybe that's in a more moderate, maybe that's a yield-focused portfolio, and I can take that off and enjoy it. And the money that I'm not going to be needing for a long time, I can be aggressive.
Exactly.
It's not going to affect my paycheck right now.
Right. Yeah. And it really, we always talk about how your money has specific jobs to do for you, and that's why you have to pay attention to this. Bringing it back to sequence of returns risk, because gosh, there's so much good stuff to get into with you today. But you know, I think, of course, at the top of every woman's mind is, how do I make sure I have enough income to last me for the rest of my life? I don't want to outlive my money, right? So the reason, again, why we have to understand sequence of returns risk is because we cannot control the timing, but we are now forced to generate income for ourselves from these investments that could potentially sustain losses. So how do we navigate that?
Okay, so I want to show you a chart. Okay, you know me. I love things like this.
Illustrations. It's so important, very powerful.
So what this chart is going to show you, this is the top line is all the happy. This is the happy dance years. Okay, so this is when you look at your 401k and oh my gosh, things are going great and life couldn't be better. We're growing like a weed. Everything is fine. The white lines below it are the down years. Now these down years, are they expected? Yes. Will they continue to happen?
Yes, they will, because we know the market is going to go up and it's going to go down. We just don't know when.
It's not always just going to go up and down like this.
Right.
You know, small little adjustments. Sometimes it comes down hard. So what I want you to do is look at the last 23 years.
Okay.
So in the year 1999, that happens to be when my dad retired, okay? If you look from 1999, and if you go back 20 years, there was only 2 years when the market was down, and that was 3% and 4%.
Wow. Yeah.
The market averaged 16% a year for 20 years. And then the first three, if you look at that chart, there's 3 consecutive lines. It's kind of where I have an arrow there.
Right.
That was 9/11. That was Enron. That was the tech bubble.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, 3 consecutive years, by the time you got down to the 3rd year, it was almost 46% down. So if you were unlucky enough to have retired in 1999, your first 3 years in the stock market, you were down 46%.
And you suffered those significant losses.
Holy cow. All right. And then you had 5 years, the market went up pretty well. And if we bring that chart back up, you have 5 years, and then you have 2008.
Right.
Look how deep that was.
Yep.
And a lot of you remember this. You refused to open your 401k statements.
Oh yeah, I remember doing that and wishing that I hadn't.
I know, right? But it didn't affect your paycheck. But it wasn't very much fun either.
Right.
But imagine how you would have felt if that would have happened when you were drawing income off of your portfolio.
Yes.
That was another unlucky time. And then you fast forward and you go down to, what, 2 years ago? And you have COVID.
Right.
See, all of these things happened without it wasn't the movement, the business cycle. It wasn't that.
Right.
It was world events that took place that caused the markets to drop hard.
That no one could have predicted.
You can't predict it. Your advisor can't predict it. So you have to know that this is going to happen again. That's the thing that I look at. You cannot assume that through the day that you retire, the next 30 years, that's not going to happen. It's probably going to happen 4 or 5 times.
Right.
Because we know that.
Yes.
We're going to set up your plan so that you never have to take an income from your portfolio that is down like that. That's taking care of the sequence of returns risk. That's managing risk.
Yes. And that's why it's so important to have a solid plan in place, so no matter what's going on out in the world, you know that you're going to be okay. And so I know that this is something that you are wanting to help more women with. And so for anyone who's watching today, what would you say to them if they need to get this solid plan in place?
So I will say that this is what Theia Financial is known for. We know how to create plans that take care of income, that take care of your investments to be sure that they supply your income. We know how to set it up to mitigate risk. We take care of tax planning, looking ahead, what's this going to cost you? We look at all of your healthcare issues. What is healthcare going to cost you? How do you pay for that when you're older? And then we'll also look at your legacy plan. All of this is considered a plan. It's irritating to me when I see somebody come in and the only thing they have is an investment statement. They have nothing else done, and they're trying to think about going into retirement without a full plan. We do this every day, and we would love to do this with you. So you can do that by just giving us a call.
Wonderful. Cathy, thank you so much. And so if you would like Cathy and the team of Theia Financial to help and serve you, this is for no cost, no charge, no obligation. What they are offering you is the opportunity to have a complimentary 30-minute Zoom call with Cathy, where you're going to be able to look at your own financial situation and see how you can be prepared for whatever risks might come your way and how you can help reduce those with your money. That number to call is 866-724-4927, or if you'd rather not talk to someone right now, you can simply pull out your smartphone, and if you open up that camera app, you can point, click, and scan that QR code down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That will take you over to a landing page, ask you a few short, simple questions, and then a member of the team will reach out to connect with you and schedule your complimentary Zoom call that way as well. More on The Accomplished Woman with Cathy Mendell right after this.
As your life unfolds, sometimes you don't see the future. You're in the moment, you're doing what you do in the moment, right? As an example, we have an orphanage in Kenya. Who would have ever dreamed we would do that? We didn't set out to do that. It happened. Worked for the Tupperware Corporation world headquarters for about 20 years. And one day I thought, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be inside of what's happening in families. I want to be in people's lives. I decided to open a financial firm that is not geographically constrained, that anyone can get involved with, that was really focused on women. because I feel like women have a little different priority. They see money a little differently than a lot of men do. Very accomplished women, very capable. They've been managing money their whole life. They understand the need to save, and they have saved money, and they have put time in to make sure they have a future retirement that works. They know that they need to reach out, and they know they need to work with a company that really can help them move forward securely. And that's our passion. That's what we're doing.
Welcome back to The Accomplished Woman with Cathy Mendell. I'm your host, Kristin Oakley, where today we are talking all about managing risk with your hard-earned money, specifically the sequence of returns risk. And Cathy, I know that when we talk about these concepts, a lot of times it can kind of feel out there, a little bit intangible, if you will. But once you put monetary amounts on things, it really drives the point home. And so I know we were walking through this chart in the last segment. We're going to put it up here for you again. And I'm excited for you to walk through this example, really putting monetary amounts to the situation.
Right. So what I want you to think of as you listen to this, I want you to think of, how would I feel if this happened to me?
Right.
Because as you look at the chart, I want you to realize this did happen.
Yes.
This is not, an example of what could happen. This did happen.
Yep.
So we're going to go back 23 years, and we're going to say you had spent 40 years in your work. You had worked 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You finally, you had accumulated your assets. And let's just say that you started with $800,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So we're pretending this is my retirement.
This is your
and all of you watching, right? Okay. So this is our retirement now.
Okay.
All right.
On 1/1/2000, you had $800,000.
Yep.
You're taking $35,000 a year of income. You have your Social Security. You have a small pension, and that takes care of you. $35,000 is only a 3.5% withdrawal. That seems reasonable, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you're taking this, and the first year the market goes down 9%. The second year it goes down 11%, and the third year it goes down 21%. And at the end of that period, now remember, you're taking $35,000 because you need to.
Right, because that's now my paycheck.
That's your paycheck
for my retirement.
I mean, that's what you're paying your bills with. So
right.
it's
So
not
if we go back to that chart, it's those 3 years you were talking about with the 3 white lines right in a row that have come down. Those are the first 3 years of my retirement.
First 3 years of your retirement. All right. Your account balance on 12/30/2002 is $414,194.
So I started with $800,000, and now I have almost just a little over half left.
So what are you thinking?
I'm not happy, because now I have almost half of what I did have to try to last me throughout the rest of my life. That's really scary.
That's scary. And here's the other thing. What kind of decisions are you making about taking income? Are you still taking $35,000?
Well, I don't want to, but what if I have to?
Exactly. What are you thinking of when it comes to taking that trip to Italy that you and your husband were planning on?
I'm thinking that not this year, not now, and hopefully at some point, but right? I mean, I'm putting everything on hold that I've been wanting to do in retirement.
Do you cancel your wine club memberships?
Potentially. Yeah, start to look at, okay, where can I cut, right? Where can I really just not have to spend income that I don't have to spend?
This is the real life of what happens here.
Yes.
This is just not numbers and math. This is what happens to your life when you go through something like this. This is going to happen again.
Yes.
And when you get into retirement and this happens, this is how you're going to feel. Okay, so then out the next 5 years, you are still taking an income.
Right.
The market is finally coming back.
Right, because we go back and we see some of these lines going up here. Yep.
Okay. Market's coming back. You are taking $35,000 a year. You're back to taking your $35,000, and then 2008 happens. Okay.
Yep.
So you got some of it back.
Right.
But your balance now is $543,000. So you did come back over $100,000, and you took an income. But did you think that in your first 7 years of retirement that you would have gone through a third of your money?
And when you say it like that, and you look, I mean, what a gut punch, right? That's your entire life savings, your hard-earned money that now, through no fault of your own, simply when you chose to retire, and it coincided with all these events outside of our control. It's that lucky versus unlucky. Well, now I'm thinking I'm pretty unlucky, and what am I going to do?
Do we want to leave it there, or do we want to tell them?
We want solutions. We're all about solutions on this show, right?
So I want you to hear a concept. It's called a principal guaranteed reservoir.
Okay. Principal Guaranteed Reservoir.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, this is this tagline was actually put together by my friend Mike Decker, but it's not a new concept. There was a Nobel laureate, I'm trying to find his name, I can't remember his name. He talked about this as a lockbox. That's what he called it. It's where you say, okay, if the market comes down hard and I need X amount of dollars, I'm going to have money sitting in a different type of investment, a different type of an account that doesn't have market risk attached to it. Okay, so let's just say that I said, well, I have an account that will give you 6% fixed interest for up to 10 years. And if you need income, you pull it out of there. You are not selling positions when the market is down.
Right. You're not selling your investments when they're taking a loss.
No. What you're doing is you're taking money from that other bucket. Okay. You have this reservoir that your financial team said you are going to need this. And you may not think you need this, but I'm telling you, you're going to need this because the markets are not always, the financial markets will not always be up. There's just simple business cycles, and then there's things that happen in the world that you can't predict. Another type of a similar tool would be you could even use an annuity with a lifetime income benefit and say, I don't want to use the market at all for my income because I don't know what it's going to do. So I'm going to set this annuity up. It's going to give me a lifetime income. I'm never going to have to worry about this ever. So I'm not going through this tumultuous, gut-wrenching feeling when I'm watching my accounts go down. If it's going down in another place, like, okay, I said, remember, you can say, yes, I'm a conservative, I'm moderate, and I'm aggressive. So it's in my aggressive bucket and it's dropping like a rock. I'm not happy about it, but it's not affecting my income whatsoever.
And it's not affecting your quality of life. That's the key difference.
That's the key. And I think that when you get ready to go into retirement, the structure of how you handle risk, your advisor just might be talking about returns, okay? He or she might be talking about, you know, a 6% rate of return or 7% rate of return, and we can beat the market. And, oh, well, we're going to do 60-40 because that'll dampen the losses. And
all those common rules of thumb, right, that you and I both know don't work in real life scenarios.
They didn't work back in COVID when the interest rates went down to 1%.
Right.
Bond funds and everything they just dropped like a rock. They don't always work. But what my theory is don't even go there. Let's get your money set up in such a way that you never have to worry about this. And that's the thing that we're looking for, is it's that security, that sense of well-being, that feeling of, I got this, I had it when I was working, I got it now, and I'm just gonna go live my life.
And it's that peace of mind that can come. And so we encourage you, if you're watching this now, maybe you are already working with another financial advisor, but the reality is if they are not having these kinds of conversations with you, it's time to get a second opinion. And Cathy and the team of Theia Financial would love to be able to do that for you. Again, this is for no cost, no charge, no obligation. It's simply an invitation to have a conversation to see how they can help and serve you. That number to call is 866-724-4927 to get scheduled for your very own complimentary 30-minute Zoom call with Cathy, or you're welcome to pull out your smartphone and you can scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. Don't go anywhere. Cathy has some more solutions to help you navigate the sequence of returns risk right after this.
We've all experienced those coulda, shoulda, woulda moments. When it comes to retirement, there are no do-overs. At Theia Financial, we understand the importance of retirement planning and turning your savings into reliable income you can count on. Retirement is more than just financial security. It's about spending quality time with your loved ones, embracing your creativity and pursuing your life's passions, and discovering the countless marvels that make our world a truly remarkable place. With a belief in the power of preparation, we work with accomplished women to design personalized plans. Don't leave retirement planning up to chance. Take control of your financial future and turn your retirement dreams into a long-lasting reality. Contact us today to schedule your free consultation.
Well, welcome back to The Accomplished Woman with Cathy Mendell. I'm your host, Kristin Oakley. We're so glad that you're joining us today. We've been having a very important conversation about something known as the sequence of returns risk and how to help yourself be prepared so that it doesn't destroy your retirement. And I know you have recently read a really fun article that you wanted to share because it relates directly to what we're talking about.
Well, you know, it's fun when you read it from a non-financial
perspective.
Person, right?
Yeah.
And when somebody just writes in and they tell you their story. So Carol Nakamoto, she's preparing to retire, and this was her comment. Saving for retirement was the easy part. Figuring out retirement income is the hard part. So then she writes this long article about how they came to, you know, she and her partner, how they came to their conclusions about what they were going to do. And I just wrote down a couple of things because I thought it was pretty brilliant. She says, as I was approaching retirement, I started to get concerned about how to create income in a comfortable manner rather than just take money out of savings when needed, which was the advice they had gotten. It seemed like saving for retirement was the easy part, so long as your company had a good retirement plan, which it did, and you started saving early enough, which I didn't. Okay. And then she said, figuring out retirement income is the hard part. After some discussions with my partner, the goals we established were as follows. Have reliable, predictable income for essential expenses, plan for discretionary income to maintain our lifestyle and have fun, protect against inflation, and mitigate the impacts of market volatility. And she said, optionally, if there's sufficient money, plan for college expenses for our grandkids and leave a legacy. Isn't that what everyone wants? Yes. Right? Yeah. And so as she's going after this all on her own, trying to tackle it, you know, how do you do this? And reading up and doing her own research, her commentary was very much like what we talked about. She used that concept of the lockbox and this was the piece about mitigate market volatility.
Right.
And I thought, how smart was that? She found it on her own, which I love that. So my concern and my encouragement to people listening today, don't settle for standard advice. Work with somebody that knows how to dig deep and that can tell you, okay, the markets are good now. Don't let them scare you, oh, an election year, or oh, war, or whatever.
Right.
Because these things are going to happen over the lifetime that you're retired.
Yes.
You want a plan. So if you are nearing retirement, if you have saved money, and if you're saying, I know that I need to get this income thing figured out, that is what we do. That's Theia Financial. That is what their expertise in, is how to put this together to be sure that you are good long term. We'd love to do it for you. We do it every day, and we'd love to do it for you as well.
Cathy, it's always such a joy to be with you. Thank you for being here, and I'm excited for more women to have the opportunity to connect with you. And so if that's you, it's never been a better time. We encourage you, pick up the phone and call 866-724-4927 to schedule your complimentary Zoom call. We appreciate you being here. We hope you found this to be helpful and valuable. That's how it's intended each and every week. Be safe, be happy, be blessed. We look forward to being back with you next time on The Accomplished Woman with Cathy Mendell.